possible?
This isn't a game. We don't know what these keys unlock.
Welcome to Explosion Network's spoiler-free review of Locke Key Season 1, the Netflix original series. Three siblings who move into their ancestral estate after their father's murder discover their new home's magical keys, which must be used in their stand against an evil creature who wants the keys and their powers. That's a synopsis for the thing we're discussing today. Mine's name's Dylan Blight. Joining me, Ashley Hobley.
Hey, Dylan.
All right, so let's get into it. I've read like one or two issues of the comic. That's it. So basically nothing. You've read nothing.
I've read nothing. Own all of it.
You own all of it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure through like Humble Bundles and stuff. You know how they did all the comics ones. Pretty just accidentally just got all of them.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, so it's based on a comic book written by Joe Hill, Stephen King's son, of course. So
yes.
And it's it's horror, sure, but I would to some regard, but it's more of just like a fantasy supernatural horror thing than your like typical horror thing, I guess is the easiest way to describe it, right? If you want to thematically put it. Our main cast is 3 kids.
Yes.
Family kids. Well, they're 16, 17, the older one?
I'd say, about the 16, 17, and the younger one is like 8, something like that. I think in the comic books, they were a bit younger. Obviously, this project has been in development hell. I think they've had it tried to get it on the screen several times. There was a pilot shot back in 2011, I want to say, off the top of my head. Yes, starring Miranda Otto, Nick Stahl, and Jesse McCartney. I know I watched the trailer for that like earlier today, and that's like super leaning into the horror aspects. It's really? Yeah, whereas this is more like contemporary fantasy, I think, which is...
Yeah. I mean, it feels like it's like, hey, Stranger Things is popular. Let's go for more of like that than too heavy into the horror. And saying that, I would say that Stranger Things Season 3 is way more horror than this is.
Yes.
Like
there's no like major scares or fear at all. Just I think the themes and that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like more thematically.
The horror comes into. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but overall, it does give you that very like Stranger Thing-ish. It's, like all those 80s, The Stand, whatever, all the Stephen King stuff basically, which makes sense, of course. But straight away when you get into the show, they show up at his house. You find out that the father's dead. Big mystery there. Horrible family event has caused family to move, which is a trope within itself, really. Like, family event causes American family to have to move. They show up at big scary house. Looks like the Amityville freaking horror house to me as they're pulling up. I don't really know what's going on. And then, they start finding these keys, and the keys do different things. And you can't really talk about them all without spoilers, of course, but each key they find as the episodes progress do different things, and very quickly the show goes from like, oh, all of these keys are kind of cool and they're doing cool things, to, oh, maybe these aren't all great and there's also evil things happening around here because there's an evil person who's, of course, after the keys, because there always has to be an evil person who's after said keys. What were your overall thoughts, though, on the whole 10 episodes?
I had a really good time. I think I feel like it drags at certain points, but overall I feel like it's a very fun, enjoyable ride. I liked all the kids. I think they did a very good job. I think maybe the mother character, Nina, she gets a bit of short shrift, but that's just the trope for this kind of genre. She's kind of on the outer, not really knowing anything. But yeah, I had a good time. I think some of the keys and that kind of stuff is all imaginative and cool, and they implement it well. And then all the different mysteries are done pretty well, I think. I feel like they explained enough to sate us this season, but then left enough mysteries unanswered for season 2, which I'm sure we're going to get, because surely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the moment it feels like old Netflix, and like there isn't like really much. When this drops, there's not much really competing, so I feel like a lot of people
they cancelled so many things, they've got to have a couple of things that come back.
Yeah, I mean, and they, of course, it's not really a big spoiler to say that they do leave it open for another series. That shouldn't come as a shock given how many issues of the comic book there is, and there's obviously no way they're fitting them all into this. I don't really want to say it because I don't know if it would count as a spoiler or not, but like I ended up buying the first volume while it was on sale on Comixology, and I want to read that after I finish the series, but while looking up the comic book series, I saw like some of the sequel series and what their storylines are about, and I'm like, well, that's interesting if the show decides to follow the route of where the comics end up going, but I think that would probably count as a spoiler. Overall, I would say that I thought it was good, but I felt like it needed to just be several episodes shorter. Like there was just several moments that seemed to drag a bit too long, and I'm like, why is this 10 episodes? This feels like it could have been. I mean, I don't know, 6 would be pushing it, but definitely 8. You know, like I definitely feel like you could have gotten to where they needed to go. I feel like they could have condensed a lot of stuff. There were several moments in a couple key episodes where I was just a bit like, can we can we get going here? So
quick, can you get through this exposition dump a little bit quicker?
Yeah. Can we just get to where we need to go here? What's happening? And then there was like one moment in one particular episode where they did a lot of flashbacky stuff to like explain to the audience what happened, and I was like, I don't feel like any of this is necessary because I could piece all this together in my head after the reveal of the previous episode, but then they wasted 10 minutes of an episode showing it all to me. I'm like, I didn't need to see this. I could have like kind of guessed what is happening given what has already happened, and that felt a bit silly as well. I'm like, just have a bit more faith in the audience type stuff, I guess. Yeah, all of the cast is good. All of the kids are good. The imaginative ways that they use the keys is obviously quite interesting, and I looked up comparisons to the comic book for some ways they use the keys, and they've drastically changed a few to fit the TV medium better, I guess. And like this,
I think there's a couple of keys that they've like put together to just be one. Yeah, from what I've read on Wikipedia and that kind of thing, which makes complete sense.
Yeah, they've done a lot of like concising and making it easier for the TV watching. But then at the same time, they make some of that stuff easier. Then they spend a lot of time on exposition at certain points and whatever else. So I'm like, come on, get it all together. But overall, I would say I enjoyed it. If I was giving this series as whole a score, I'd probably be around a 7 on it. Like I thought it was fine, but nothing. I'm not going to get to the end of the year and be like, I highly doubt this is going to be my top Netflix series or anything like that. You're writing the review for it. Have you locked in the score yet? Or
probably going to be around the 7.5 to 8.
Okay, so just a little bit more higher than me. But of course, you can read Ash's full review over at explosionnetwork.com for more thoughts there. If you do go watch the show after hearing us say that it's pretty good, or you're planning to no matter what we said, up to you. That's fine. You will be able to find, we will have a full spoiler discussion of this, breaking down some of the big reveals at the end of the show and what have you over on the What Do You Want to Watch podcast feed. You can find that on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever the hell you want, or explosionnetwork.com. It'll have all the links there. That's a good old-fashioned way to go about it.
There is a crazy evil thing who wants these keys. These aren't toys. They're weapons.
These keys, they're our legacy. There's something that connects us with Dad.
The past is always with us. You can try and run away, but it's always there. Whatever you think you understand about those keys,